I am so excited to be starting my first reading vlog for my new channel. So I have a cup of coffee and we are going to be running out the door pretty quickly here. So I'm going to talk about the books that I am going to be reading for this vlog, and then take whatever book I'm going to start with, take it with me for what we're going to go do today. And if I have some downtime, I'll be able to start it. And if not, then I will be picking it up this afternoon. So let's talk books. I will link it down below, but on my other channel, I did my October TBR video, and it was so much fun. I use a TBR jar and I pick also a shelf to choose from. One of my prompts was a 5-star prediction. I love that. So I actually have 2 5-star predictions that I'm going to be reading on this vlog. So the first is The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. He also wrote The Midnight Library, and that was the first book that I picked up in the beginning of 2021 when I was desperately looking for better books to read, and I loved it, and it has kickstarted this whole thing. So this one, you are following a retired math teacher whose long lost friend leaves her a rundown house on a Mediterranean island. So she arrives with no guidebook, no plan, and she searches for answers about her friend's life and how it ended, but she also has to come to terms with her past. It says, filled with wonder and wild adventure, this is a story of hope and the life-changing powers of a new beginning. So I love that. That sounds absolutely fantastic. I am hoping that this will be a 5-star read. Then my other one, and this is actually the book that I pulled for this prompt, is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. This is the sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea, and I am so excited to pick this up. So it sounds like, okay, so it's a sequel, but I think we will also be diving into some past. And you're following Arthur, who is the headmaster to this house that houses magical children. And so it's kind of hard because this is a sequel, so there's not going to be a whole lot to say about this. I think you're kind of picking up where it left off with obviously raising these children. Linus, who's the main character in the first one, is obviously in this one. But then he is summoned to make a public statement about his past. And you got glimpses of his past in the first book. But I think that this one definitely dives more into what happened to him when he was younger. So I am really excited to pick this one up as well. As for which I'm going to read first, I think I'm going to do The Life Impossible first. I think that will be just kind of nice. This one I am really excited about, but it is a sequel, so let's start with this one first. So I'm going to get a bookmark, and then I gotta start packing up some stuff, and we are going to be out of the house for most of the day. But I'm really excited to start this. Alright, while my coffee is doing its thing, let's talk about The Life Impossible. I took the dust jacket off. Let's see, I am 50 pages in. I am really liking it so far. I'm definitely intrigued. So it kind of starts in an interesting kind of way with a letter, and it's a guy writing a letter to his former math teacher. And he is just really lost with life and what to do. Stuff has happened with his family, and he just doesn't kind of know where to go from there. So she ends up writing back and says, I have also had a difficult life, but I have this story that I've been kind of holding on to, and I'm ready to tell it. And so now she goes into the story of her life in London. Her husband had died a few years earlier. Her son had died a long time ago, but he was a young child, and she definitely is still grieving that. And she gets a letter one day that a woman that she used to work with at the school years ago has left her a house on an island off the coast of Spain. And so she thinks, well, I'm not gonna do that. But then she kind of decides, you know what, I'm going to. So she kind of packs up a little suitcase and goes. The house is not what she was thinking at all. It's just this little kind of rundown one-story house. And that's kind of where I left off. There might be like an inkling of something that has happened. I know that Matt Haig, just from Midnight Library, has some magical realism kind of stuff going on in it. So I'm interested to see what goes on in this book. But I barely started. I'm gonna go ahead and push this down and then pour myself a very big cup of coffee. It's Friday morning, so my kids and I are going to get some schoolwork done, and then I'm hoping during lunchtime I'm going to get a nice chunk of this read. But so far I'm really enjoying it. I have my cute fall mug and pour a large cup of coffee and hope for the best for today, which I think it'll be a good day. It feels like fall. I stepped outside briefly and it is like cool and crisp this morning, so I'm really excited about that. All right, let's go. All right, it has been a while since I have updated, but let's see. Yesterday I was able to read a teeny tiny bit, not as far as I got. Yeah, I only did like 10 to 15 pages. I need to start making a dent in this. We are having my oldest son's birthday party this afternoon. I have about half an hour, and I was sitting here scrolling and decided, you know what, I'm going to put my phone down and I'm going to read for half an hour. So that's what I'm going to do. I have Millie here to keep me company. Say hello. Oh, you're so cute. So I'm going to get some reading done. All right. I was able to read for half an hour. I got 20 pages more. So I am starting to finally look like I am making a dent. I'm really enjoying this book so far. She, is on this island and trying to figure out what happened to her kind of estranged friend, and there's a mystery definitely behind her death, and the house and just the island itself is a little bit mysterious. The policeman told her to just enjoy her holiday, so for a while that's what she was doing, but then she realized, no, I really do want to know what happened to her. So she is continuing to meet some people on the islands to see maybe they can find out what happened. So I'm going to go get myself cleaned up. I will probably not be able to pick this up. If I do pick it up, it'll be like later tonight. But tomorrow, we don't have a bunch of plans for tomorrow, so I want to make a really big dent on this. Luckily, it's not a super long book, like 320 pages. All right, so tomorrow or the next day, I should be able to get it done. I am here for another update for The Life Impossible. I am really, really enjoying this book. I think it's going to be a 5-star book, which is fantastic because that's what this vlog is. I think that it is really lyrical and has a lot of like philosophical views. Like, I don't annotate in my books, but this makes me almost want to like go back sometime and reread it and annotate, because there's so many lines or paragraphs or something that just like you read it and you're like, wow, that's really beautiful. Or like there was a whole chapter about a theory for infinity that like I had to stop and read it out loud to my husband because I was like, listen to this. It's so cool. Anyways, I'm really enjoying it. So I have 100 pages left. So I'm going to sit down right now and hopefully knock out a chunk or maybe all of it. We'll see how much time I have, but really, really enjoying it. And then I am going to pick up Somewhere Beyond the Sea. This one I am going to do the audio for. The other two TJ Klune books that I have read, I've done the audio, and they're just really, really well done. And so I want to experience it through audio again. So that hopefully I will be starting tonight, and I will give you an update when I get a little bit into it. One last thing, I want to show a new, let's see if I can get far enough. I want to show a new sweatshirt that I just got yesterday. So cute. Yeah, my finger's in the way. Just one more chapter. That is what I'm wearing today. It is a little warm still, but the temperatures are going to drop. Okay, that's my reading update. I will be back when I am a little bit into Somewhere Beyond the Sea. Okay, it's the next day, but I thought I would do a book update while I make some omelets. It is my oldest son's 14th birthday today, so we are making a nice special omelet and bacon breakfast. Now my hands are all dirty, I can't pick up the book. Alright, hang on. Okay, I finished this last night. I really, really enjoyed it. Now I stayed away from reviews because I was enjoying it so much. And because it has a really low rating right now on Goodreads. So I didn't want to be swayed, and I wanted to have my own opinions. After I finished reading it, I did go back and read the reviews. I can understand where some people are coming from. But this book obviously deals with like grief and mental health and things like that. But nobody in the book seeks like professional help for that. And I think yes, it would absolutely be beneficial. But I'll stand it up. I do think that this book is lyrical and it deals with grief and loss and coming to terms with that, and that the people that you are grieving wouldn't want you to just wallow away. So while our main character and the person that she's writing to don't ultimately seek mental health, like professional mental health, they do come to terms with it. But aside from that, I think that this is like really beautifully written. I think that there are so many lines and full like paragraphs and chapters that I want to go back and read again, because I think that the writing in this is so amazing. It definitely has some magical realism that if you're not a super fan of magical realism, it might be a little much for you. I found it almost on the side of like, but it never crossed that point. I really, really loved it. So I am giving it 5 stars. Okay, let me start some stuff and then I'll talk some more. Alright, started an omelet, checked on the bacon. So let's talk about Somewhere Beyond the Sea. So this is the sequel to The House on the Cerulean Sea, which I read last year and gave 5 stars to. So this, you are definitely following Arthur, who is the kind of headmaster, hopeful adoptive parent of these magical children. So far, it's not quite the same slightly cozy vibes that I've gotten from Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door. So in the beginning here, Arthur has to go and do like an inquiry about kind of how his beginning of his life was, how he spent kind of his early 20s, and kind of how he is raising these magical children. It feels very, I mean, his books are political, let's be honest. But this is kind of like head on dealing with prejudice and hate towards different groups of people. All right, keeping an omelet warm, cooking another omelet, bacon is still going. All right, so all of his books absolutely have LGBTQ representation, which is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think it's wonderful. This book is dedicated to the trans community specifically, and you can definitely see like the direct links to what's going on in this book to the trans community. It's being done so far like much more head on, which is good. It's just different than Cerulean Sea. But I am still really enjoying it. I am listening to this one, and I did get a good chunk last night. So I am on page 126. So you can see, maybe that's my marker there. So I am still really enjoying it, and getting back in with like the kids and Arthur and Linus. So I am really enjoying it, and probably this afternoon, I think my 14-year-old now, holy moly, he wants to play some video games and have like a quiet afternoon. So I think that's what I will do while he is playing video games. But that is my update. So 5 stars, and we will see. All right, a little bit of a reading update. I've got Millie here. We are having a nice slow morning, so I was able to listen to a nice little chunk of Somewhere Beyond the Sea. So I am now that far in, which is on page 256 out of 400. I'm enjoying the book. Definitely not as much as Cerulean Sea, but still really enjoying it. They have a new inspector that has come to the island and is now inspecting the house and the children and everything like that. She definitely doesn't have some of the same qualities that Linus did coming to the island. So she is definitely not likable, but I'm interested to see kind of where it continues. They are also trying to pull off that one of the children that is not registered is actually an adult. So there's just a lot going on. They are currently going out into town and seeing how that goes. We'll see. I don't know that it's going to be a 5-star book. At this point, I would kind of rate it maybe 4, maybe 4.5. I don't know. It's just not as almost cozy as Cerulean Sea. You know, while there's still those elements that are having to be proved with these children that shouldn't have to be proved, I'm not finding this one as like cozy. But still enjoying it, still happy to be reading it. So I'm going to have to put it down now, and we need to kind of get moving with our day just a little bit. But I'm hoping to come back this evening and read some more. It is also much longer chapters. The Life Impossible, they were really short chapters. Like some chapters really just only had like the title of the chapter, and that was it. And then, you know, most of the chapters then were like 1.5 pages. So this definitely is taking some time, but it's kind of nice because then I'm like, oh man, I only read 1 chapter. And then I look and I'm like, oh, I actually just listened to like, it was like 75 pages. That is nice. On that note, I'm going to go get ready, maybe snuggle with this kitty just a little bit. I just got new bedding, so I thought that this would be a nice, cozy place to wrap up this reading vlog. Plus, my kids are taking over the rest of the house. I have finished both books, so let's talk about Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. I really enjoyed this. I give it 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite a 5-star book, and I think that the reason why is that Cerulean Sea, really, you're getting that character development with Linus, you're getting to meet all the kids and Arthur, and kind of understanding this world. You are also getting that found family. Sorry, the cat is. You're also getting that found family, which is amazing. I love found family books. This one, I don't know, it wasn't that like cozy found family vibe, but the story itself was still fantastic, and I'm really glad that it was written, and we just kind of got everything all tied up nice and neat at the end with a bow. So these are the two books. So 5 stars and 4.5 stars, which I think is fantastic. I did pretty good trying to figure out what I think might be 5-star books. Now, I have read both of these authors before. I don't know how it would be if I picked a book that I haven't read the author. That might be kind of something interesting to do one time. But I'm so excited that I was able to pick these up and read them. And that is where I'm going to leave my first reading vlog. It was so much fun. I'm hoping to incorporate more reading vlogs into this channel. So if you have any suggestions of ones that I should do, let me know down in the comments. On that note, thank you so much for watching. If you like this or anything else that I might be posting on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I'll be back for more soon.